from my bed this morning, from on my bed. I'm at my desk, so this is a little bit different this morning. But good morning, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Again, wherever you are in the world, feel free to type in the chat here where you're coming from. Let me know who you are, where you're coming from. But definitely welcome. And today we're gonna just talk a little bit about how to become an outlier. And I think this is actually one of the most difficult topics. An outlier, if you don't understand what I mean by that, is a simple concept. So an outlier in statistics, an outlier is defined as a point that is so far skewed from all the other values, right? So basically this weird anomaly, this weird, right, point. Another way of stating this, right? That's not as nerdy, but I don't know. Maybe it's just as nerdy. One other way of stating this is that how do you become so above average, right? In terms of not just it's not an elitist thing, okay? Don't I really don't want to have us interpret this in a really elitist way. This is not like, oh, how can you be better than other people in terms of like superior, whatever. It's not an inherent superiority thing. It's about how could you become the best possible version of yourself and outperform based on and yeah, outperform other people, but the idea is not it's not meant, understand, it's not meant with an attitude of ego, right? The idea is to become a better person and focus on your own progress. Welcome Nikhil and welcome KKRs. Feel free to share ideas. This is all about sharing ideas. You can share ideas in the chat. That's what the chat is for, so feel free. And welcome, by the way. I think this is the first time I'm seeing you on this particular or on any of my live streams. So, welcome, welcome to the channel. So, this is actually, how do you become an outlier? It's a tough question. It's a tough. I don't think there are easy answers. But I can share a little bit of my experience, right? Because and I can share some of the commonalities that one I've observed. About from my own experience, others' experience, but also from actual data. And there's research that's been done on these types of things. So, for those of you who don't know me, those of you who are new to the channel, new to the live stream or whatever, I have both a very highly academic background, in value theory. It's like one of the most theoretical fields you could ever study. And at the same time, I have a very entrepreneurial background. So I think for the past, I don't even know now, I think it's maybe the past 14 years, something like that, I primarily have gotten my income from doing businesses and doing some sort of business. And so it's been different businesses at different times. And so I actually am a big proponent of entrepreneurship, but it was totally foreign to me. Okay, it was totally foreign to me doing entrepreneurship when I was back in academia, right? Because why? Because in academia you think in two different ways. You think in a different way. You think about theory. You think about concepts. It's very conceptual, right? It's a whole different set of incentives as well. But what I'm going to say actually applies, and what I'm going to share applies to both, I believe, academic performance or being great or pursuing greatness, being an outlier in terms of an academic way, in those types of ways to about performance, right? Academic or intellectual performance, but also I think what I'm going to say also applies very much to entrepreneurial performance. And yeah, KKR S, feel free to share your ideas about group learning, because I know I just recently posted a video about talking about group learning, and for sure a lot of people seem to really like that video and get a lot from that. So feel free to share your ideas. It's all about sharing ideas here. I mean, this channel, by the way, in case you guys don't get the idea, it's all about sharing ideas. I'm not gonna come here and tell you, oh, I have all the answers, right? I have all the best ideas because, sometimes you go, or very often we go to a channel on YouTube or on anywhere on social media, and we tend to like start to worship the person or something. Like, oh, this person, everything this person says is true, and it's such great ideas. No, that's not the idea. That's not the point. The point is to share ideas because I'm a human being. All of you guys, you're human beings. We don't all have the best ideas. And that ties actually right into our discussion, by the way. I think all success, however you envision success, all performance and success, ties very directly into how well we collaborate with others, how well we, I don't believe in, let me put it this way, I don't believe in the self-made person. Now, I do believe that you input your hard work for sure, right? You input your hard work to get a result. But we see that very clearly that it's not just about hard work. You can, if it were just about hard work, I think the people working in coal mines and scrubbing floors and things like that, they would be the most successful in the world. So it's not about the hard work, right? There are people who do a lot harder work than I have and that I do, right? And that many of us do. So it's not just about hard work. It's about the resources that we gather. It's about the connections that we make to people, to other people. It's also about just in general, the collaborations we engage in. And so we always want to be strategic, right, about our collaborations. Who are we connecting with? And as an introvert, and KKRS I'll get to in a moment. As an introvert, I am a big introvert, guys. I need to actually push myself out to be social with people. Like, I'm proud of myself. This week I booked like 3 lunches and coffees with like people that I needed to catch up with. And I do this deliberately. Like, I do this deliberately even though it feels safe and it feels comfortable, really, for me to just say, oh, I have a pile of books over there. I'm just going to read them for the whole week and like ignore everybody. Right? I mean, I can do that, and I'm sure many of you can do that too. But it's not actually healthy, and it doesn't help your learning. Like, you actually learn more from the books you read, especially, and the information that you read by going out, by discussing, by collaborating. You get opportunities that you wouldn't have had otherwise by collaborating, by connecting, by making those real connections. And so you have to, and I know I personally do, I keep it on my schedule, like, because I know it's just, if I don't plan it, it's always going to fall behind. I make time to actually catch up with people, connect with people, even if it's just a text, right? Even if they don't respond, right? It doesn't matter. I don't care if they respond or not. I reached out. I did my job. Eventually maybe the person will respond to me, and I'll catch back up. And that's one thing I did learn from that's one thing that I did learn from doing business. Now, the business that I do nowadays is not very people included, so I have to make it more of an effort to like actually reach out to people. But all the other businesses that I've always done have involved working with people directly, and so it was a lot easier. Now I have to make more of an effort. Yes, KKRS, I will respond to you, but first name, last name, yes, I will definitely wish a happy birthday to your father. Yes, so I wish him safety, I wish him health, I wish him protection. Happy birthday to your father, definitely, first name, last name. KKRS, let's talk about your point. And I think it does, from what I'm seeing here, it does tie into the concept of success. Success is such a broad topic here, right? And two persons will enter into partnership for group learning. They will allocate topics of the same chapter in the book. Then both have to report each other on the next day about where they are stuck on topics. So next time topics will be rotated. So we come to know opinions and learnings of others. Actually, it's a good way of doing it. You could do this in several ways. and this applies to whether you're reading academic books, but I was going to talk about all the types of books that I read, like self-help books, right? Leadership books that I read when I was building businesses. I don't read a ton of these types of books anymore. I'm actually more focused on academic books, but I can get back into a lot of these. But like Five Levels of Leadership, the Power of Habit, John Maxwell, right? How I would laws of leadership, right? Nowadays I would say, oh, the academic in me wants to say, well, none of these books have citations, right? They don't have like citations to behavioral studies and things like that. And they don't. That's true. That's true. But needless to say, do they? If you really follow these, a lot of these books and actually implement a lot of these principles, will you see more success bit by bit? I believe that's the case. I believe that's the case. Even though these aren't like they're not scientific texts, right? And so yeah, people in academia might look at these and say, oh, these are pop whatever. I don't even want to read it. But there is a depth. There is a depth of experience and knowledge that you get from reading these types of books, even if from an intellectual standpoint you might say, okay, they're not intellectually interesting, they're not intellectually important, but they have a lot of great content in them for how to work with people, right? And so once again, in anything you do, I mean, you look at all the great scientists, whether you're pursuing something intellectual, academic, or you're pursuing something business-wise, those connections with people are always so important. I actually teach something called I just call it the networking playbook. It's just all of my experience with networking over the years. I will tell you, I hate networking and I hate the idea of networking. What is it? What do I mean by that? Networking. Oh, here's my business card. Oh yeah, here's my business card. Oh, let's collaborate sometime. Like, I really hate that. I actually nowadays, I don't go to any networking events. I I I like rather. This is my approach to relationships now. After having done this for again, I've been doing some sort of business for like what now? I think 14 years. I just and I guess it's just a different philosophy, and you have to choose your own philosophy. But um, after all this time, I have realized I don't like the traditional kind of networking thing. I like going somewhere, meeting someone interesting, having no expectation, right? And saying, this is a cool person, or I really like our conversation, or I feel like I vibe with this person. It's an unexplainable kind of just a vibe, right? You connect with this person, and then you never know where that's gonna go. You just leave it open. I think it takes a lot of stress and anxiety off of you to not have an agenda already in your mind of, okay, this is what I'm gonna get out of this person. When you do that, you also the other person feels you as more genuine. They don't feel the same. They don't feel pressure like that either. And it's more enjoyable. I freaking hate. I'll talk. I cannot tell you if I even think about like, oh, let's go to a networking event. My stomach starts to, turn a little bit. But if you say like, hey, let's go out to dinner with a new friend, or I want to introduce you to somebody who does this and this and this, I'll say, oh, that's interesting. Let's go out. Yeah, let's have a conversation. Let's meet somebody new. That's why I actually really love. And then basically that will evolve and turn into something. Why do I go through all this explanation here? And KKRs, I'll actually respond to you here. Why do I go through all this explanation here? As that is one of the most important factors in success, your resources and so forth, and the connections you build, and the relationships you build. One thing, the reason I go through all this is that one thing seriously, I feel like that. One of the things that the reason I go through all this explanation, okay, is that in order to really have the resources. You need to build those genuine relationships, right? But also, you need to enjoy the journey. You need to enjoy the journey, and that's something that I like. I used to think of. There were certain businesses that I've done in the past where I've said to myself, well, I'm just going to do this as a means to an end. Like once I do this, once I hit this goal, and I'm going to just suffer through it. I'm going to struggle through it, and then at the end of it, I'll have my reward, whatever that is, and then I'll go do other things that I like. That really, it ends up being a fantasy a lot of the time because you keep stretching out the timeline, right? You just really do inevitably keep stretching out that timeline of when you're gonna, how long you're gonna suffer through whatever you're gonna suffer through. I would say one of the most important things is to really enjoy the process and make sure, and that's the number one thing. I'm going to go back up here, but I'm going to talk about alignment in a moment because I think that's important as well. Like things that a lot of people don't necessarily talk about. They'll talk about mindset and all this stuff, or grit and stuff like that. Those are important factors. But hold on, let me respond to your comments here, guys, and then I will kind of talk about that. So KKR's, you said I find it difficult to convince my colleagues for that idea. Out of 50, only one agree. Other blocked, mocked, and rejected me. Why I'm blocked for sharing idea? Or you feel something? Okay. Let me tell you something. That's the whole point. Okay, that's the whole aspect of becoming an outlier. You will get rejected. You just have to accept it. The majority of people do not want really. Oh, here we go. So hack your life. Hey, sir, I am an MIT student. This is enough for me, but can you give me a greatest advice that make me a billionaire? Do a backflip. I don't know about making a billionaire. Well, one of the things I would ask you I would challenge you. I would challenge you on right now is why do you want to become a billionaire? So maybe you want to become a billionaire. Okay, maybe you may actually have a really great, strong reason for wanting to achieve that, and more respect to you for doing that. I would say make sure your reasons are right. My biggest advice on that would be, let's talk about let's put it in a nerdy context for a moment. Bayesian reasoning, maybe Bayesian probability, Bayesian updating, or what is this all about? Well, how does this relate to success and your success process and your decision making process for how you're going to go about hitting that goal? Well, back when I started in business, again, like 14 years ago, my first business, I thought, okay, this is really what I want. This is what I want. I had an idea of what I wanted, why I wanted it, but go back to the Bayesian concept here. That's your first piece of data, right? It's your first piece of data, and it's limited, and you don't have all the other pieces of data that you will accumulate along the way to change your belief and change your opinion. What happens along the way of doing several businesses, like a business after that, I did, another one after that. I did, other jobs. I did this and that. I had different experiences. What happened? My Bayesian updating process. Had more data that factored into more of my decision making process, and it updated my beliefs. All right, and so you have to. I would say, cool, great, have that as a goal, but be very clear why you want that goal. Like if it's just I want to make a lot of money. Well, why? Again, I'm not saying it's a bad goal. But you should have a very clear reason. And it shouldn't just be money as the end goal, unless you're treating it as a game and like it's fun for that reason. You could do it for that reason, right? But which is some people, I think that could be legitimate. But really reason it out. And I would say have more experiences. Do more things because that's going to have more job experiences, have more life experiences. Do different businesses first. Learn different things first that are outside your comfort zone. Meet new people that you didn't think you would meet before first. Because what that's going to do is it's going to update your Bayesian from the standpoint of, again, Bayesian reasoning. It's going to update your priors, It's going to update that equation essentially, and it's going that further data is going to inevitably update your belief system in why you want that thing or what you actually do want. So that is the key there. And welcome, Anthony A. Welcome. So Ezekiel, you said, what do you think would be a good way to maximize the amount of good you put into the world? So that ties into success. I actually believe a full definition of success should be, what value are you putting into the world, right? Because yeah, I'm just gonna put it bluntly. I've actually thought about this, and if you're familiar with my channel and me, you know I'm really, I'm pretty philosophical. So basically, I think about this. Think about in 100 years, people still might remember you, right? If you did a lot of great things, if you did something really great. How about in 200 years, 300 years, 1,000 years? I mean, the chances that you or I will actually be even remembered at all are very slim. Right? Chances are most people won't even know we existed. IPO, welcome. I'm great. How are you? Most people won't know where we existed. So, what is the impact that you want to make then? Is it just you want to be like famous, or you want to be feed your ego, right? And I really used to be there. And again, I'm still like, I'm human, so I'm still like I fall prey to that, right? I have to check my ego. But is it just to feed your ego and like be liked and be well regarded and all of that, or is it something where regardless of whether you're remembered or not, right? That you're remembered in a certain way or regarded in a certain way or not, what's the impact that you want to make? What's the legacy that you want to leave? And for instance, can you make an impact? I think there are a lot of people who have made tremendous impacts that we don't even see, that we don't know, and it's okay. But it's great that they made that impact. For instance, there were teachers, there are professors. I will tell you right now, there's a teacher who, he's not famous. He's written some maybe obscure publications. No, not many people read. No offense to him, but and he's not like, if you said his name, nobody would recognize him even now. So 100 years from now, nobody's gonna know who he is. So, but he made a huge impact on me, and maybe can I go on and make a huge impact on other people because of that? Did he have an impact on other people because of that? And so that's his legacy. And so does he have to be remembered? So the question for you is like, do you have to be remembered? Do you have to build up this huge ego to have that impact, to have value, and to create value, right? So it goes even further than saying, oh, what's your purpose? What's your passion? Oh, right? Which is just such cliche questions nowadays, especially. But these are things that I think about. Remember, there's this Stoic saying, memento mori, right? Memento mori. Remember, like, I don't want to be morbid here, but it's straight up like, remember you will die, right? That's what it means. That's the Latin. It means remember you will die, memento mori. And so at the end of the day, it's not about the ego. The ego will be gone, right? The ego will not live on. It's the impact you have. So let's see some of the comments here. What do you think is the best trait to have for a startup to have a greater chance of success? Yeah, so Mustafa, I think that one of the best traits is I would actually just even say it like a learning attitude, right? And again, like a lot of this channel, I talk about learning, but a learning attitude. And what do I mean specifically by a learning attitude? I think the understanding that you will fail, not the, oh, I might fail. No, you will fail. You will fail a lot, right? The idea that you will fail a lot, you will fail a ton, and you have to accept that you will fail a lot, and expect that you will be very frustrated. Expect that there are times where you'll feel like giving up, but at all those times, you have to keep your mind, you have to keep your rational mind, right? Okay, what are the variables here? What do I need to adjust? What are the variables here? What do I need to adjust? What can I learn? What am I doing? What am I not doing? Let me look at the data and see where can I make improvements. And then that's just key. I think that is actually key, right? And also don't be, here's another one. Don't be married to that first idea that you have. That's also key. You'll fall prey to what's called the sunk cost fallacy. You love this thing so much. Oh, I believe in this project so much. I need to keep going, even if it's a failure. Because I believe in it so much. Well, I hate to break it to you. Maybe it's not. And it's okay and that happened to me too. Like I've experienced that in business. Like I was so attached to this one thing, and like this was gonna be my life and this was gonna be my business, and then it's not that it was even a failure financially, but it's like for my life it was a failure. For how I got up every morning, it was a failure. And so I would say you have to be open-minded too. You have to be open-minded to changing and making a pivot. Quitting is not always a weak move. Quitting is a power move sometimes. Quitting is a power move sometimes, and changing and adjusting. So what's your stance on fake it till you make it? Fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. Okay. And dealing with rejection. So I think we can actually deal with both of these at once, right? Fake it till you make it and dealing with rejection. So let's deal with both of these at once. So fake it till you make it and dealing with rejection, they're actually part of the same mindset. I wouldn't say fake it till you make it. It's not that you want to you want to show off. Let me give you a bad example of faking it till you make it. I used to, when I was like dirt broke, all right? I was really broke. I used to, in my first business, I used to wear suits and and then if anybody said, okay, so how's business going? Oh, it's going fantastic. Yeah, I losing I'm negative whatever, a couple hundred a month. It's going fantastic. It's growing, right? Sorry, I laugh now because it's like, you think back, and it's just crazy. But that's a bad fake it till you make it. Okay, that's a bad fake it till you make it. Don't do that. Don't do that. There is research in social cognitive theory, in psychology, and it's backed by actual computational methods. For all you people who are very math oriented, there are computational models for this that are quite valid, showing that the more belief you have in yourself, right, the more in the sense of raising what's called self-efficacy and self-esteem, the more you do that in a positive way, and the more you think of yourself and have this what's called self-concept in psychology. It's called self-concept. It's basically what's your image of yourself. The more you improve those things, the more likely you are to hit certain goals. And that's actually quite well documented. Okay, that's quite well documented. So, let's see. Oh, thank you guys. I try. I try. I do my best. I'm gonna dive into more reading and stuff today. It's nonstop learning. So, and I learned so much from you guys. But yeah. So there is research on that. Plus, I've experienced it. All right. So it's anecdotal, but yeah, I have experienced it. Okay. And fake it till you make it in that sense is very healthy, right? And then dealing with rejection, yeah, it's very healthy. The key is it's easier said than done. How do you get to that point, right? It's yeah, that sounds fine, but how do you get to that point? I would say you have to have enough experiences of doing things that are successful, right? So you have to have some success experiences that reinforce the belief that you are that type of person. So case in point, let's say we'll apply it to just going to the gym. So if you say, well, I'm not really a fit person, and this used to be me too, I'm not an athletic person. What do you think? I'm not an athlete. I'm not gym guy. But the more you go to the gym, the more you lift weights, the more you exercise, the more you track your calories, the more you focus on these healthy habits, you're like logically, your mind experiences this cognitive dissonance where you say, I can no longer deny, yeah, I'm a gym person, right? I'm a gym person. And so it's kind of the same way with entrepreneurship or any kind of success. Again, academic success, business success, whatever that is. It's about doing certain things. So you might have to, for instance, it might be this like painful process of saying, okay, I'm going to like study this one aspect of entrepreneurship, or I'm going to, I'm like, let's say your sales skill, right? You're unconfident about your sales skill. Do 100 appointments, and I'm not kidding. Do 100 sales appointments until you start to see that one person who's really receptive, right? You might suck at it, and trust me, I sucked at it. But you find one person who's really receptive, like, oh, that's great, that's a great idea. Yeah, let's do it. I'm sold, right? And suddenly you say, oh, that's proof. That's proof I can do it, right? That's proof. So you started to prove to yourself, that's proof. Even though maybe your conversion rate is really, really low. But still, that's some proof. You're like, okay, now you say to yourself, well, how can I reverse engineer that? What did I do right? Maybe what segment of the market was that person in that made them more likely to buy? Maybe they were a certain personality type. Maybe I said something a certain way. Maybe I wore something a certain way. So you start to narrow down all the variables and you start to think of this very, very logically, and you can start to reverse engineer that success bit by bit. And that's what I mean. That's the fake it. That's the correct fake it till you make it mindset, where it's built on actual logic and built on actual reasoning, and that will help you a lot. So, yeah. So guys, that's basically a little bit of my understanding for some of the stuff that I've been through. Feel free, you guys, to reach out to me directly, email me if you want to. All my information is in my about section. Feel free to, by the way, check out my Critical Thinking Academy if you're into that, interested in that. Also in the about section and my descriptions of any video. And feel free to subscribe. But above all, I love just hanging out with you guys. You guys give me a lot of energy, and yeah, I love having a conversation with any of you guys. So feel free to reach out anytime. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see each other next week.